hope everyone is refreshed. Grab a nice cup of joe or a beautiful cup of tea, and welcome to the Cuppa Creativity in the Literary Lounge, a place where writing doesn't have to suck. I am your marbled mouth host, Kynda Faythe, and I'm also the executive director, founder of Faythe Publishing, Inc. Today, I want to address healthy writing habits. Yes. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to eat like lots of vegetables and do calisthenics. Well, maybe. I want to talk about healthy writing habits, establishing a writing routine, and then actually mapping out and enjoying your process. But before I do that, I want to do a couple of shout outs just like normal. I would like to first give a shout out to the Advanced Learning Library here in Wichita. They provide an amazing AV studio. I believe that you could probably record video in here too. I'm not that adventuresome, but they have this amazing setup and they will always help you out. So that is great. I also want to do a shout out to the BIG. That's a Barton International Group. It's a consultant group of students, made of students at the Barton School of Business at Wichita State University. I've really enjoyed their energy and how they structure things and they come up with more ideas, and I just love working with them. I also want to give a shout out to the Faythe Publishing, Inc. Board of Directors. We're always looking for more, by the way, but I love that they help keep me grounded. I always say that my attention deficit and ideas are like a superpower, but sometimes, Superman or Wonder Woman kind of need to take a little breather and kind of reframe themselves. So I really thank them for using their networking ability and their ideas, and I love that we are building a foundation together. And then finally, what this all is about, outside of writing and creating, is about Faythe Publishing, Inc. We are a nonprofit publishing company. We're like probably the only one around that do what we do. And what do? We want to foster, grow, support underrepresented voices in our community. As a great quote, actually the big kids got it. They mentioned that we are the audience, but we are also the authors, and we also create a legacy. And I think that's absolutely amazing because every single voice matters. Every story matters. And every story also deserves to be told. So that's what Faythe Publishing, Inc. does. We foster those stories and those voices and the people that help create the foundation to make those voices be heard. This is everything from some students who want to be book cover designers, students who want to focus in communication and social media. Maybe it's in strategic planning. Maybe it's in helping capture the stories of your neighborhood or your community. Right? Maybe you are helping find all those stories whenever you're working as a CNA at a nursing home. Maybe you're just looking at a restaurant and you're just gathering all the stories that you're seeing. I want us to be inspired. I want to inspire others and be inspired at the same time. But before I get onto my platform, let's do the mantra, because you know what to do, right? I mean, you can say it in a different language. You could say it in a funny accent. It's, whatever makes you happy. It'll make me happy. So here's the mantra. Today, I will face fear. Today, I will be brave. Today, I will struggle. Today, I will grow. Today, I will get through this. Huzzah! Shaking the jazz hands. Yay! Come on, you like it. I know, I love it. Recently, I was going through my Google Drive. I did not know I had a limit. Apparently, I have a limit. And in it, I was trying to rearrange where, my pictures go, my videos go, my such and such. And I came across videos, and I do this almost with all of my different classes. I have them say the daily mantra. In the past, I've done it only on Mondays, but I might be bringing it back on a daily basis just because it makes me feel good. Anyway, I would record them. And I kind of just got a big kick out of watching each class. Like some people, I had one class that they would say the mantra with a kazoo. I had another class that did the whole like Dead Poets Society thing, and they stood up on their desks and they yelled it, and it was, oh my gosh. it's hysterical going through that. So I say your mantra, create your own mantra. I know recently at the last semester, some students at Newton High decided they wanted to create a writing club. Not just a creative writing class, a creative club. And they were writing their own mantras. So I think the power of mantra is healthy and super cool because it will help you. And so there's my little segue to go into what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about healthy writing habits, establishing a routine, and finding your process, enjoying your process. So it's funny because when it comes to writing, I genuinely think there's not one true, big T truth way of writing. You have your own process, right? I am a shotgun approach kind of a gal. I have got tons and tons of ideas, and I've got them on sticky notes all over my office and in my study. And then when I'm ready to focus, I kind of go shopping for story ideas or phrases or whatnot from those sticky notes. And then I sit down and I just start writing. And I get to know my characters and I get to know the situation. And while it just seems like organized chaos, I really enjoy my process. There are some famous authors that have had different processes. So Hemingway, I want to say that he said this, but don't quote me on it. I have a sticky note on it. It says drink less and write more. Or I also say, write drunk and edit sober. I've heard all sorts of different phrases. So what I'm going to be doing today is I want to give you a couple suggestions for writing habits, because I think writing can be cathartic. It can make you feel good because that's what stories are. Not necessarily like warm fuzzy, but it makes us feel good to get it off of our chest, or that we have some kind of like resolution, or some type of closure. So if you need, so some of these may counteract each other, perhaps, but I wanted to throw it out there anyway, right? Just so you can kind of get some ideas, because this whole process, this whole journey is, why I'm doing what I'm doing is I want to be here to help you on your journey. I would like to be like that mentor, the little crazy guy at the bridge that tells you what to do, right? I would like to kind of guide people and share in their journey. So one of the things that helps me out at the beginning is devoting myself to kind of a bigger purpose. I wrote my very first book on sticky notes. And as crazy as that sounds, I took sticky notes, and at the time I was working for the Department of Transportation, and I had a 15-minute break in the morning and a 15-minute break in the afternoon and a 30-minute break for lunch. And every single day, until my brain turned empty, I would put these ideas on sticky notes. And then I would start putting them together. And then I'd start finding, a pattern. And then I had a story within that and such and such. But the thing that really kept me driving is I wanted to write a novel, or I wanted to write a story to show my grandmother. She was diagnosed with lung cancer, and I felt like, the time was really pushing it, that I needed to get this out before she passed, which did. It was a beautiful, wonderful process. Hard, but great. Right? And I really enjoyed writing it. And so devoting myself, kind of putting myself in that little extra pressure to complete a project before my grandmother passed was something that helped keep me motivated. Not that I'm saying that you have to do that. Perhaps you can just do it for yourself, right? So I'm going to give you a couple suggestions about a healthy writing habit. One of the thing is, and you can, I don't know, I'm more of a night owl, not going to lie to you. You can always wake up early and read. I will tell you, you need to read. Writers, read. You're going to get better at writing by reading. And it doesn't really matter what you read. I always suggest reading a little bit of everything, because you can have influences from all over the place. It can be from, a post. It could be from an article. It can be from a book. It can be from a magazine. But kind of, I always think of this as a treat, right? Spoil yourself a little and read. Now, if you want to wake up early, then by all means do it, because I believe our friend Papa Hemingway, he wrote like 6 hours a day. He wrote first thing in the morning, and he had his coffee, and he was sober, and then of course by the evening he was not sober. So I don't know. I would pick a time and read, or pick a day. That's what I do. Is if I know that I have a lot of things going on, and I needed my ideas to stew a little bit, right? I read. And I usually have like 5 books going on at the same time. I'll read a chapter and then I'll switch to another book. So I would do that. The other one I think that could be helpful is creating a playlist. Now, I don't know about you. I love playlists. I usually have a playlist for anything, right? Because my music tastes vary. My music taste can be, I have to listen to like old soul or Motown when I'm cleaning my house. Right? Aretha Franklin, God rest her soul, will probably never know how much motivation she gives me to vacuum. Right? So create a playlist. My music tastes vary depending on what I'm doing. So when I'm reading, or if I'm writing like an academic paper, I'm usually listening to like Yo-Yo Ma, or like some kind of Bach or Beethoven, or something that's I'm not necessarily going to be singing the words, right? If I am writing an email, or if I'm going through like more business type of stuff, I will listen to like R&B, or I don't know, lately I've been listening to like a lot of country. So it kind of just varies, right? So make yourself a playlist. You could even make a playlist for whatever you're writing, which I think would be really, really fun. One thing to note, you don't necessarily need a muse. If you need the inspiration, I understand, but sometimes we just write to write, which leads me to writer's block. I have many students and many authors that are just like, oh my gosh, I just don't know what to write, and I just have writer's block, or I have creativity block. Well, here's the thing, I'm going to counter that. Nobody gets talking block, right? I mean, I stumble over my words all the time, but no one ever stops talking. They don't have talker block. So the thing is, one thing that you can do, a nice habit, which could turn into a routine, just write. It doesn't have to be great. Just write. You're just going through the process. It's kind of like, I do not run. I was more of a thrower, short distance kind of a gal. But watching long distance runners, or people that do any kind of distance exercise, whether it's swimming or running or whatever, they keep running regardless if they have side cramps or if they have such and such. That kind of goes with the same with writing. You need to keep going through it. If you're going to have a writing block, that's okay. Start writing something else. Sometimes it feels good just to type somebody else's words. Now, I'm not saying that you should plagiarize. I'm not saying that at all. But sometimes it feels good just to type a sentence or two, and then it just sort of takes off in your own world. I think that is super good. So definitely keep writing. That's going to be kind of healthy. We already talked about writer's block. We don't necessarily need to have a muse. It's super helpful, but you can find inspiration anywhere, whether it's from that, playlist, or from reading that article. I think that would be a good thing. While you're going through your process, stop your bitching, right? We all have suffered. We get it. You don't need to you don't need to talk about it. You can write about it, but you don't need to be talking about it. Just, writers write. One thing that also helps me, which I think would be good to help establish a routine, or something that's good for you, is I would grab a sketchbook or a notebook. I am always carrying notebooks, or it's also handy if you use your phone, and just start taking down notes or little doodles about some kind of idea that you get. Like my idea for the past, couple days is I have been really digging in dirt. I love dirt, like the smell of good dirt. It's dark, black, and it's just, oh my gosh. And anyway, I have been writing down all of these like gardening terms, and flowers and photosynthesis, and I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I have a feeling that I can turn it into something, right? So you're constantly looking for material, right? So whenever you get that crazy phone call from your grandma or a text message from your mom that has absolutely no context to it whatsoever, my son's great at doing that, use that for source material. I'm sure that they'll be flattered that you write about them. Everything can be source material. Whether it is seeing a homeless guy hanging out at the library, or maybe it was just a really nice person that decided to buy you a cup of coffee. Just keep your mind open, and you're always going to have material to write about. I will say that when you're kind of stuck, or a good habit to get into, is you're constantly researching. Please, 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 please be curious. Always be curious. I think that's going to be a great habit. You're never going to be bored if you're curious. And it can be curious about anything, right? I was driving down the road and I saw some random boot on the side of the sidewalk. What happened to it? Who did it belong to? Right? So start getting into the habit of being like that annoying 3-year-old and start asking questions. Why? What happened to his boot? Did it throw off of a truck? Was a guy riding a bicycle? Did it belong? Did a dog take off with it? Right? There's endless possibilities. So if you're feeling researchy or more curious, I kind of pull an Alice in Wonderland, and I totally go down the rabbit hole. The internet can be a very dangerous place for me because it's just like the daisy chain, right? It just goes from one thing to another thing to another thing, and then you just keep on going. Well, keep track of that, and that's going to also help you with your writing. It is a complete process. And while we're talking about process, once you start getting things together, you're going to start noticing how things fit, kind of like a puzzle, right? So I have a distinct method of writing. I will get kind of a random idea. I will start just gathering information, or kind of gathering my sticky notes, and just let it stew for a bit. And then I put them all together, and then I start writing. And while I'm writing, I'm getting to know my characters. And the more I get to know them, I like them. Even the ones I don't, the antagonists, and the ones I don't really like, I like knowing how they tick. So that has been really fun for me to see how they kind of intersect with each other. So I think once you find your method, how you get ideas to the page, and how you do that, how you foster that composting your ideas, right? How you foster all of that process. I think writing is just going to be more enjoyable for you. I do suggest that you stop occasionally, and don't edit. Do not edit while you're writing. Like my editor voice, my students have named her Janice. I'm sure there's some very nice people named Janice in the world, but mine's kind of bitchy and has got seriously high standards. So while you're writing, cut yourself a break and just start writing. Don't worry about what you need to be changing or how this voice should be, how it should be heard, or if you're only going to be writing to the ear. It is okay to cut yourself some slack. The important part is that you're going to be getting something on the page that you can work with. Now, that being said, I would suggest not making I call it the vomit draft. You can make a vomit draft just so you can get something on the page and just so you can kind of get yourself, you're working through that running cramp, so to speak. That does not mean that is what you need to be used as your final draft. It is okay to let things stew for a little bit. But you need to work through those cramps, right? Those growing pains. You're growing as an author, you're growing as a creator, and it's okay to be in metaphorical pain while you're working through something. Finally, while you're enjoying your process and you have created this wonderful baby, so to speak, right? I think of any kind of creation as kind of like childbirth or getting pregnant, right? You are impregnated with this amazing idea, and it's growing, and people are exciting, and right? You can eat whatever you want, and you can wear overalls every single day if you wanted to, and it's exciting and it's wonderful, and you're like, oh my gosh, how's my life going to change? And right, then it starts going, and then when you're like, I need this baby out. I need the story out of my head right now. That can be kind of difficult. You could have like labor pains. That could be equated to you just going through the editing process. It could be equated to taking critique. Taking critique and writing and creating is one of the bravest things that you can do. It is absolutely horrifying. I'm not going to suggest that it's not. It is hard to when you have held this idea, this creative baby, so to speak, and you've held it in your womb for 9 months, and then you have to let it out, and you have to show it to the world. And that moment, right there, at that moment, can be the most liberating and terrifying moment ever. But remember that when somebody is critiquing, right? Not criticizing, critiquing. Criticizing is deconstructive. Critiquing is constructive. We want to build you up. It is okay to tell you that you use the word very way too much. It is okay to tell you that the only body language that you describe in your characters are raising their eyebrows. Somebody needs to tell you that. It's not a knock on you, okay? It is not a knock on you. It is a suggestion to make your story better. It's okay to take critique. So I'm going to leave you with 2 more things with regards to this process and being healthy and establishing a routine. One, when you establish a routine, you are making healthy choices for yourself, and that is good. While you are making your healthy choices, please stay sane. I know it sounds insane. It sounds crazy. You need to stay sane. It's okay to walk away from a story for a little while, and then you can come back to it. There is a fascinating correlation between writers and other substances. It's kind of crazy. There's several books on it. We'll just learn, use Hemingway, for example, Hemingway and drinking. Sometimes you can't write all of your pain away, but remember to stay healthy, right? Stay healthy. So stay healthy, keep yourself sane, learn to take critique, and then enjoy your process. When you enjoy your process and you know that this is exactly how you're going to work, you're going to turn into something so amazing and so good no one could ever ignore your story. So compost yourself, right? Stew in your ideas. Generate those. Make that good earth, that good story earth, and make yourself that good writer. That is my challenge for you. I think you can do it. You can write anywhere. You can write at any topic, and you can tell your story in any way. The important part is that you have healthy habits, you have routines, and you have amazing stories. I'm Kynda Faythe with Cuppa Creativity in the Literary Lounge. I look forward to seeing your work. Until next time.